Hello there, you're watching New Vision TV. This is the Handshake with me, Lynn Komjisha. I'm joined by Paul Busherezi. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Paul, we have a number of online drivers under the association, SODA, Smart Online Drivers Association, and they're complaining of exploitation by foreign owners of these apps. Well, we're looking at apps like Uber, Taxify, Lito, and ABCD and Z. Who are they complaining to exactly? The app owners.
Beats me who they're complaining to. I mean, well, you know, that's the challenge with the how do you say now? What do you call it now? These online businesses. You know, whereas we know that some of these apps have offices in Uganda.
Oh yeah.
So they can always direct their things there, but you know, many times you don't have anyone to direct to because direct your complaints to because the guy is probably in the States or wherever that may be. But you know, it's kind of their complaints. You know, you wondered who they were complaining to. They called a press conference and broke it all down. I didn't want they were complaining.
And you know, they're complaining about revenue loss. And I'm thinking, I don't really know who regulates them, who looks after them, who looks out for them.
Well, I would like to imagine that these transport companies, if you can call them that, are regulated by the Ministry of Works. They probably have to get a license from the Ministry of Works or some such arrangement. But I imagine that regulation stops on how they do their business in terms of maybe the cars that they put out or they allow to be on the road. I mean, if you think about what they call these taxi hailing companies.
Yes, yes.
As a taxi driver in those companies or a cab driver in those companies, I regulate my time even. The boss says, well, I want you to be available, but he doesn't say you should be available from 9 to 9 or it's up to you. So it's really it's
you know, now that you mentioned that, I'm wondering, where is the revenue loss? I thought they were their own bosses in this case.
No, obviously they have to pay commission to the owner of the call it the app. I don't want to say any names. Don't give any advertising. To the owner of the apps, but you know, in other things they have to maintain their car. They have to maintain their own car, so they have maintained in good working condition. And of course, little things like I saw the list of costs, you know, their lunch, the fuel, they all come from that money. I imagine, you know, of course, washing the cars, keeping them clean, keeping them in good order, they all come out of that. So the argument was they're spending more on the car, maintaining this asset, and they don't have anything left over for themselves. That's essentially what they were saying.
That's true. That's true. What would the government do? How can it help?
Well, I think government shouldn't get involved because what happens many times, beyond licensing and ensuring that these workers are not abused, you know, government shouldn't get involved because you see, this is it's like any other product. Initially, many people will join, but when the economics will separate those who can from those who can't.
Yes, yes.
And they fall off and they go and find work elsewhere, or they adjust, or that kind of thing. I mean, a few weeks ago, I was out of the country, in another country, and I was using these cab hailing services. In that country, none of these drivers have big cars or salons or what. They have Vitzes, Spacios, small little economic cars. It's not about ego in this business. It's about can you get your costs down to the bare minimum.
True.
And in fact, even in that country, the guys don't even call you back. They send you a text. Because I think the text is free over the app.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So they have worked it out. In
Uganda, you get a million calls.
Oh yeah, then here we just keep calling each other. You know, these are all costs we don't appreciate. But those guys there, clearly they've worked it out. They know where to be, what time to be, and all that kind of business. Yeah.
Now you highlight that they should operate within their standard and minimal costs. But what else can they do? For the meantime, what
I think that's a major thing. I mean, it's really for them. It's about costs. I mean, any business is about costs, and for them more importantly, because from day to day. You know, if the guy blows his costs, he can end up not driving the next day. So you've got to keep it going.
Sure.
Of course, the more experienced drivers also have learned where there's heavy traffic.
They avoid.
You know, no heavy traffic in terms of heavy demand for their services.
All right.
I was shocked to learn, you know, certain parts of the city which I thought would be very where the service would be in demand. There's just no demand, so there are no drivers on that side. You can put your app in that place and it tells you
we're not
drivers are available.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So they're actually suffering, and here we are always complaining about them.
Well, you know, there are two things. I think, can you say there are two things that have happened? I've talked to cab drivers who are previously special hire drivers.
Right.
And they say that, you see, in those days you would have maybe 2 rides a day. And each ride would cost maybe, who knows, 40,000, 50,000. Now he has, you know, up to 10 plus rides in a day. And he's probably getting, you know, about 100,000 a day or something. And those who own their own cars actually make it worthwhile. There are drivers who rent their cars from owners, and those ones are the ones probably who struggle a lot.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so I think the trick is to get your own car. Get a small car, the smallest possible car.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.